Wow. So podcast, huh?
I mean, what an incredible idea.
Hi guys, welcome to Questrom Real Talk. I'm Vidhita Chandwani.
And I'm Andrea Nunez. And this is basically a space where we talk about what student life at Questrom is actually like.
Not the LinkedIn version, not the polished version, but like the real version.
And for our first episode, we wanted to start with someone who's really lived through all phases of Questrom.
We're joined by Joannie Perez, a senior here at Questrom who's been involved across the community with student government to Alpha and even studying abroad in Madrid.
But more than that, Johnny's someone who's actually experienced what it's like to figure things out here. The confusion, the highs, all of it.
So today we're going to talk about what the journey really looked like.
Johnny, we're so excited to have you. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. It's really exciting for me.
Yay.
Okay, Joannie, before we get into everything, how do you feel at this point in senior year? Like, has it hit you yet? Are you like prepared for it, not prepared for it?
I think as the weather gets warmer, I'm getting more excited about the fact that I'm graduating.
Yeah.
Knowing the end of year celebrations around the corner, graduation, the hype of graduation, and what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to eat. So it's getting real. I think at the beginning of the semester, I felt a little bit more sad about it. But now that everyone's getting more excited, it's like I have to be too by default. But it's been great.
Yeah. I have to say, I honestly didn't think about that either. Like, the warmth of it. Like, I feel like it feels full circle in a way. Because, like, each year we kind of think, we're coming back in the fall. Maybe not this time. But it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of moving to, like, your experience in Questrom, I wanted to ask you, if you could describe Questrom in 3 words, what would you say?
I would say Questrom is definitely collaborative. Because, we're always working with so many people. And even if it's not in a team, you're always chatting with people down in the atrium or connecting with your professors in office hours. So collaborative for sure. If not, I would say busy. Questrom students tend to be super busy. I think we're all overachievers. So we're always doing a lot of things at once.
Yeah.
And I would say social for my third one, because again, through the collaborative aspect, you just make so many friends and get to connect with so many people.
Yeah, definitely. So just given these words, what is something very Questrom that only people who study in this building would understand?
Totally core. I feel like other colleges know about core, but you really have to go through it to really understand what it is. But if not, I would just have to say the Questrom Starbucks.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody else gets it.
No.
Yeah.
You can come visit to the Questrom Starbucks, but going in between classes and catching up with friends or running into someone it's always like a big ordeal. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I have to say, especially with core too, like I've had so many moments where like networking with like alumni, either like before I took core or like after, like it's always a topic of conversation that we hit because it's just like a that shared Questrom experience that we all went through. Exactly, because it has its nuances here and there that are great to talk about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But taking you back to like, when you were in high school and you were like thinking about colleges, was BU always like the school for you? Did you know? Or was it like kind of a plot twist? Were you expecting to maybe end up somewhere else?
I think I always knew. I always wanted to go to school in a big city. So if it wasn't BU, it would have been somewhere in New York. But what really drew me to BU is that I could actually envision myself on Commonwealth Ave. When I came to tour with my family, walking around and seeing the vibes of everyone else. It was a really nice day. I remember when I came and seeing everyone laid out on BU Beach really sold me. It sold it to me. So I'm happy that I decided on BU. I definitely think that I chose the right place.
Yeah.
Looking back, it doesn't feel that way sometimes, but I think now that I look through everything that's happened, I'm a firm believer that everything works out the way it's meant to, and I'm happy here. Yeah.
I have to say, definitely, like, for me, like, one of my friends from high school, Ale, who actually used to be a part of, like, the marketing communications team, she went to my high school, and, like, she had told me about how diverse Questrom is, and, like, how interesting it is to, like, meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds and, places, like, around the world and not only, like, nationwide. So, I really wanted to, like, have that experience, and it's been so enriching for my college experience, and I'm so grateful I, had the opportunity to like experience that.
Yeah, definitely. Was there something else other than the Bio Beach that sold you? Especially like for Questrom, was there something particular which you were like, okay, I need to go to Questrom?
Yeah, I think realizing how open the Questrom students actually were.
Yeah.
When we were here for open house, everyone was just super open to talk to you. And it made me feel a little bit at home because I was super intimidated and awkward and nervous. So to see everyone so willing to talk and conversate with you and your family, it really made me feel like I was more at home.
So, what did you think of Questrom, or what did you think it would be like when you first came in? And was there something that like really surprised you?
Yeah. Well, I thought Questrom was going to be super businessy. And I'm not saying that it's not, because it is, but to the point where like I asked if we needed to wear business casual every day to class or if there was like a specific dress code.
I mean, I sometimes feel there is a specific dress code for this building, but I won't say it's business casual.
There kind of is. Like you give like a business student vibe.
Yeah.
But I was convinced that I had to come to class in like a tux every day.
Yeah.
But that's not entirely true. I think I'm just most surprised that it's a lot more open. Again, like I mentioned, yes, I had that coming in, just speaking to students when I was entering freshman year. But I think actually being in it, everyone's a lot more open and a lot more chill than that like super stuffy, pristine vibe you might think a stereotypical business student is.
Yeah. I have to say, like, I was so excited to like come to a school where I feel like people like to dress up for class. Because like I feel like there are so many other schools where like people don't necessarily do that, or at least like where I'm from in South Florida, like everyone always wears like leggings and like a top, and it's so boring. So like I love like getting to explore like style here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like I don't know about you guys, but like when I first entered the Questrom atrium, like seeing like the banner of like the stock market, like, you know, ticks like go like just in live time was so interesting to me. Like that's what intimidated me like most at first.
Intimidating is a really good word.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's something about Questrom that no one tells you about, like being a Questrom student? Like you can't, like you would experience it once you get here and nobody can really prepare you for it.
I would say a little bit of like that competitiveness. Like you always want to stand out and you want to be the best student. Everyone here, I think I mentioned this earlier, is super overachieving. And I think we're all super smart and super on it. So once you're actually in it, you kind of become that a little bit. And it's cool because I think it totally builds your confidence. It builds the way you present yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when I was speaking to a friend of mine about something similar, she also mentioned that the way it's structured, like even the classes or the environment, even people who come in who are like really shy and awkward in public speaking or like public settings, it just sort of navigates you into becoming like a very social, confident person. Like people who are scared that, oh, you know what, you're supposed to be like that sort of a person who's like really social confident and like will just, you know, be an overachiever. I feel like that's not how everyone is once they come in freshman year. But that's sort of what you become by the end of the year. And like not in a bad way, like in a good way.
No, I can totally agree with that. End of high school, I was totally a little bit more timid and a little bit in my shell, as some would say. But as soon as I came here and got to know a lot more people and went through classes and all the team building, everything else, I definitely feel like I got it down. I don't know. I have a lot to learn, but Questrom definitely helps me become a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. I feel like that's a common theme, at least like for myself and like other people I've talked to who go to BU. Like I feel like college is such a time of like self-discovery, especially if like maybe, you know, you didn't see yourself as like high school being for me. Like I very much did not. Like I didn't love high school. So like coming to college, I was so excited to like, you know, delve into like a new environment. And I don't know, I think that's awesome that that's like a really universal experience like across BU. But kind of touching back on the Questrom Starbucks comment, because we did tap on that earlier, but it's so hard not to. Questrom Starbucks is so iconic.
I agree.
Yeah. So what do you think kind of like the bond that Questrom students have about just the Starbucks in the building says about our community?
I would say we're talking about the community that the Starbucks.
Yeah. Kind of like the mentality I think that like all Questrom students have about the Starbucks. Like it's so, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so interesting. Like it's iconic, but
I would say, I guess maybe it's in a way we're kind of like I think in the real world, once we go into like our corporate like jobs or where like a stereotypical businessy world expects of us, in passing, you don't have a lot of time to like always catch up with friends or anything else. So I think that Starbucks is just a special place for us here in the college world to just meet with everyone, especially because sometimes it's not necessarily in the most conventional way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet people there when you weren't expecting to. So I think it's just nice. Like you never know who you're gonna run into.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to have a little bit of piece of home.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can explain that the best.
No,
but
it's like I would say that when you're coming back, especially from like winter break and not like summer break, because that's when like a new session starts. But like especially when you're coming back from winter break, you're like a little homesick in the first 2-3 days. And then you enter Starbucks and you see so many familiar faces, and you're like, no, wait. I feel comfortable. Like it just instantly adds that sense of comfort when you see so many familiar faces. There are also like people you have never spoken to, but it's just somebody you see every day after your class, and you're like, okay, yeah, just the environment's very comfortable.
exactly. You said what I was trying to say
Yeah.
perfectly. Like in the midst of all the chaos and all of our busy schedules, going to that Questrom Starbucks is generally a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah. Sort of feels intimidating for freshmen though. I feel
Yeah,
like that.
I have to say when I was a freshman, like it was definitely intimidating because it felt like everyone knew each other, and I was like, I don't know anyone. But I
Yeah.
mean, now like being a senior, like it's interesting to see that dynamic play in a different way because you're like, oh, I feel like I don't know anyone, but it's all because like there's a ton of new students,
Yeah.
like, people I haven't had in my classes, and I feel like that experience is really special because the in between was like those 2 years, especially like sophomore junior year, like even if you don't like know like every face, you're like, oh, I've definitely crossed paths with you, or, like
Yeah.
we've had a class together and like I just recognize you kind of like,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And I've met so many new people in Questrom Starbucks. Like, I think I've met more people there than in my classes or like clubs. Like, just interacted with more people in Starbucks. Just like friends of friends, or like just somebody
For
you
sure.
had in your class, and you're like, oh wait, aren't you in AC221 with me? And then you just start speaking.
Yeah, honestly, I would say like the 3 words you use to describe Questrom are also could be like
3
used
words
to
for-
describe the Questrom
Yeah,
There you
Starbucks.
go.
Yeah. So, Joannie, what's been your favorite class at Questrom, and why would you say that's your favorite class?
This is a hard one. I feel like we've taken so many classes, but I would say my favorite is branding. I took that class with Professor Donlin last spring.
Mhm.
I really liked it because it really got me excited about marketing.
Yeah.
It showed me that marketing isn't just advertising and like social media, but more so related to a lot of strategy
Mhm.
and how brands make themselves different and stand out in such saturated spaces. So I think that was my favorite. And of course, Professor Donlin is just so great. So
She's so amazing.
yeah.
You literally took my answer. Like I think last semester I took her class, and I remember reaching out to you to like ask about the class. But honestly, what an experience. Like the depth she goes into just to understand like how each brand has like really thought of how they want to be presented. I think that was like a great experience.
Agreed.
Okay, so pivoting a little bit, if you were to give advice to someone who, is an incoming freshman or like Questrom student, and you were to give them like a survival guide, like a rundown of everything they should probably know/keep in mind, what would you mention?
I would definitely mention the UDC downstairs or the Feld Center. I feel like these are such great resources we have as Questrom students, and they tend to get overlooked. I didn't really start going to the UDC until maybe 2 years ago, but I should have been going all 4 years. So I would definitely mention that to the freshmen, and maybe even just sharing my advice on what I think is the best time to order ahead on Starbucks and, just kind of making the most of the building itself.
Yeah. Be avoidant of the core timings to order Starbucks.
Yeah.
Because the way it gets to 20 minutes and then
No, I've seen it at like 30, almost like pushing
That's going to
40.
say.
Like, yeah, but I mean, it's busy. It's busy.
yeah. I think those are good advices.
Mhm.
So you've also worked with like luxury retail places like Zimmerman and Coach. What has those experiences taught you about people and like consumer behavior?
Yeah, I've learned that the luxury client really likes to build relationships. So at my jobs, I've totally learned about clienteling and how important it is to follow up and send emails, or even if it's sending like a thank you text, thanks for coming in, just things like that, because people really do come back. So customer loyalty, customer retention, it's super important. But I've been able to connect that with business in the sense like we are taught to build relationships with people and network and brand ourselves so often. So relationships go a long way,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Definitely. I remember this one instance from Core. There's one workshop, if you guys remember, where I think it's a marketing workshop where professor called like two people from like different teams to pitch their product to the other person. And there was this one pair where the guy just sat down and instead of just being like, okay, so this is my product, this is what we do, and this is the price I'm going to sell you at, he just goes, so how are you doing? How's your family? How's your wife? And like the other person was just so confused for the first 5 minutes. But that softened the person so much, even though they were just like another student from another team, that the rest of the conversation about the product and the pitch was so much more smoother. And I was like, you know what? This explains the whole relationship between like clients.
Yeah, it's so important. And
Yeah.
I try to look at it from like a friendship perspective. Like when you're trying to make friends, you try to get to know the other person. And obviously that brings you a lot closer to them. So it's definitely important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so to just to clarify a little bit, are you just a marketing concentrator or are you concentrating multiple?
Just marketing. So I initially came into Questrom actually wanting to do information systems and tech. I don't know. I had this really grand idea, but realized that it didn't make me the most happy. And I definitely knew that I wanted to go abroad. So it was either 2 concentrations or 1. So I picked Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like leaning a little bit on that, like how did you know that, marketing was for you? Like what was the moment do you think that clicked for you?
I think honestly, the first time we really get immersed into marketing is in core.
Yeah.
So after we did all the advertising and learning about the marketing strategy, I realized that it was something that I could enjoy. And I knew that I really liked fashion. So I was able to kind of look down the list of concentrations, see what I can do
Yeah.
with fashion, and marketing is where I landed.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think like looking at marketing and strategy like in cohesion is so like interesting because like also even looking at some brands and like I'm kind of looking at this from like my strategy class perspective, like thinking about like Pepsi and like how they, market themselves in contrast to, like Coke is super interesting because they're so competitive based off of like their creativity, like what they're currently doing. I think like honestly, Addison Rae with Diet Pepsi did a lot for them. I think it did a lot in like our generation. Like I like drinking Pepsi a little bit more and I'm a Diet Coke diehard. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think marketing is all around you. Once you just get the gist of it, you can just see it everywhere in your daily life, right? Okay, Johnny, pivoting a little bit more. What kind of a person do you think would thrive at Questrom, and what are some things that others need to learn in order to thrive here?
I think we talked about this a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
but the person who thrives is someone who's totally outgoing, open to conversation, definitely extroverted. And the person who might struggle a little bit might be a little bit more introverted and shy. I could see both ends of that because I think that I've been on both ends of that spectrum. So, what was your follow up question to that?
Like, what should they be doing in order to like become the person who's thriving?
I guess something that helped me was surrounding myself around friends who love talking to people and would say hi to everyone they walked by on the street. And that definitely made me a little bit more open to conversation also. Yeah.
So kind of also like adding on to that, like how did you find your people at BU?
So I've joined a few clubs along the way to kind of see not only what I wanted to do academically and professionally, but just to check out who I would meet. One of my biggest things was definitely Questrom Student Gov.
Yeah.
I learned met Vidhita there, and it was cool because we just tried to build a lot of community, and through trying to find and build that community, we met some really cool people who wanted to do the same. I'm also a part of the Ascend Fellowship here, which is supporting DEI students in Questrom, and I've met all of my best friends. My roommate Leonie actually is in the fellowship with me, so it's been really cool.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So what are few things that you wish you knew in freshman year that you would have that would have made your first year here easier?
I would say the professors really like office hours. I think that was that one thing, because I had such a hard time trying to connect with professors, because coming from like a smaller high school to classrooms that were a lot bigger and not being able to have that one-on-one with the professor in just a classroom setting, I wasn't familiar with that. So if I had known that just going to office hours would have gotten me what I was used to, or gotten me more familiar with the professor and more familiar with the class, it would have made me a lot more comfortable.
Definitely.
So well, kind of like adding on to that again, like if you were to give any words of advice to incoming freshmen or the new freshman class, what would you say?
Like in terms of classes, not the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of classes, I would say, so definitely going to office hours. Professors like to talk to people, and you can get a lot of help through them. I would also say to maybe connect with one or two people who are in your classes. I've gone into classes where I don't know anyone at all. And sometimes if you have to miss a class, it can be hard to get notes and catch up. But if you know just at least one or two people, they can really help you succeed too in that way. Just sharing knowledge.
Yeah. I think it just makes you feel comfortable in the class as well.
Exactly. Like. Just having a buddy to depend on.
Yeah, I have to say, like, for me, like, I was kind of lucky in the way that my, like, schedules worked out, like, before my concentration, that I just, like, always ended up having people I knew in my class. But I would say, like, in my accounting concentration, like, not a lot of my, like, personal friends, like, ended up going through that. So I've also made friends, like, in the accounting concentration, just, like, you sit next to someone, you just start a conversation, and then you build that relationship. So I think it's really cool too that so many people here are willing to start friendships like that. And it's awesome. It makes the environment feel so much warmer, especially when, like, in this case, like, you're a freshman, you're intimidated. So
exactly.
So Joannie, you mentioned you've been involved in like so many activities around Questrom. What did each club that you became a part of teach you, and how did you get into them?
Sure. So I think one of my first clubs was Alpha, which is an acronym for Association of Latino Professionals for America. They're a national organization. Boston has their own chapter, and BU does as well. And I was introduced to that by one of my friends. Her name's Maddie. She's graduated now. Love her so much. But she invited me to one of their like vision board making nights, and I just thought it was super cool. And I joined to again meet friends, but also seek some sort of professional development. So I did that for the first 3 years, and then Questrom student government was through the same friend group. And I ended up loving it so much because not only was I able to connect with students, but also get to know a lot of the faculty at the UDC, like Zoe, who's our advisor, and Danielle. So that was really great. And what else? The Send Fellowship. So I joined that my freshman year. They did outreach before I even stepped foot to BU. So it was really cool to participate in the Ascend Week and get to know some of the upperclassmen. So through my fellowship, I was able to already know so many familiar faces by the time classes started.
Yeah.
And I've been a fellow since, and we've done seminars and some other professional development events that have been super cool and near and dear in my heart. I love them so much. And I did the BU Madrid program, which is amazing. I think about Madrid maybe 5 times a day. I loved it so much. Going senior year was definitely unexpected for me. Everyone goes right after core in their junior spring. So to go in my senior year was, I was a little anxious about it. I felt like it was kind of risky, but I loved it so much and I'm happy to have gone.
That's awesome. So, kind of like tagging on a little bit more about the leadership positions that you've taken, or just roles in general in Questrom, where you felt like you've stepped into the shoes of taking on a leadership role. What's one lesson that you've learned that you have seen translated into like your real world, like, job experience?
I would definitely say kind of doing things with confidence, but not to the point where you're being like clouded by your ego, but to the point where you're just sure and certain of what you're doing. And I think that that's helped me a lot in the real world, like just be knowing of myself and like sure of myself that I can do something. And it helps, like, I don't know, lead your way. It helps also myself like reflect and ground. Like I know that I can do it. I know that I'm capable. And I mentioned this a little earlier too, but just being open to, yes, you can be a confident leader, but if you're not listening to the people that you're supposed to be leading, then you can't really get too far.
Yeah, that's so true. So Johnny, you mentioned Madrid
Yeah.
a lot. And if you're thinking about this 5 times a day, why don't you tell us about it? Like, did you change how you see yourself? How was the experience? And did you have any friends there? Did you go alone? Like, just talk about Madrid.
I actually was able to go with my roommate, which was so beautiful. We had such a grand time. And what I discovered when I was in Madrid that I could be a lot more independent than I thought that I could ever be, just because I live so close. So I'm originally from Pawtucket, which is right by Providence in Rhode Island. So I always go home fairly often. I can call my mom if I need something. She's just like less than an hour drive.
Yeah.
But being away and being so far from everyone, I was so nervous about change. I don't do the best with change. So being over in Madrid, it taught me that I can be very flexible and adaptable and that I'm a lot more independent than I think. So for sure, that's what I learned the most.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you take yourself out of like the norm, like you discover so much about yourself, and especially Madrid, like their way of life in Spain is so different than here. So, you know, even I feel like being in like a country where like siesta time is like normalized, where it's like you just have an hour to like chill and take a nap can be interesting, and adapting to that and then also adapting back is cool. So, I don't know, that's awesome that you got to have that experience.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, going back to like you here at BU, is there a moment that you can recall where maybe you felt lost, and how did you get through that moment?
I would say fairly recently, if not like junior year, even just now this semester, I feel like we're at a point where everyone's onto so many different life paths. And I feel like sometimes I can compare myself to others and feel a little bit lost. And I can feel like something is particularly expected from me. But I realized that we're all kind of going through the same thing, even if someone's goal seems more definitive, it may not be. And everyone's kind of going on their own pace. So I have to sometimes look back on that. And of course, talking to my sister back at home helps me a lot. So, yeah.
I think I'm having the same conversation with my parents on a weekly
Yeah.
basis where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. But then at the same time, they're like, but this is what you're doing. Like, why are you making yourself anxious? And you're like, you can't help but be very excited about you graduating, but also like that moment of anxiousness which just seeps in every now and then, just given how the environment is. It just you just have to navigate through it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a very relatable point for like especially a lot of people graduating.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like it really is up to like your perspective, the way you know, handle like the way that you see your walk after like undergrad going. There's, you know, the sky's limitless, which is what I like to say. And like, you know, shoot for the stars, like never think small, you know, which it's, I don't know, super awesome that like we, you know, have that outlook, you know?
Yeah. My mom just keeps saying the end of one story is the beginning of the other one.
Mhm.
So don't get nervous
That's
about
sweet.
this. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Slay, mom.
Okay. What's something that you feel like you should be stressed about a little less? And this could be something that you've been stressed about any time during the last 4 years.
I guess it could just be relative to what we were just talking about. Stop stressing about the future.
Yeah.
I think that when I'm too riled up and focused on about what's next, I'm totally missing about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like enjoying the end of senior year, that the fact that the sun is finally shining.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely to stop stressing about the future, because I'm such a stressor and
Yeah.
I've made it here. So I'm sure I'll figure it out then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that super resonates. And I have to say, like, I feel like taking things day by day, you know, like,
Go with the flow.
yes, learning to go with the flow, like knowing what you need to do, but being present, I think, because also stress is so like, you know, with stress, at least me, like I fixate so much on like things that are upcoming and like feeling like I need to like be a certain way for this XYZ moment that's happening. But like, it's more about living in the moment, you know? And I feel like I had this realization, actually, I was telling Vidhita like yesterday, I was like, I don't want to remember the end of my college experience being stressed. Like, you know, just live day by day, take it day by day.
Exactly. And I feel like even just talking to my friends and just seeing the attendance in class right now. I think everyone's just kind of chilling and taking it a little more slow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what's one moment in your college experience that maybe didn't go the way you envisioned, but definitely taught you like a good, valuable lesson?
This is hard. I feel like I feel like there's so many points where I thought something was gonna go one way and it totally went another.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one thing that could resonate with a lot of people is like not having an internship right away. Like I thought I'd have like 5 by now, or so that's just one example, but I guess I'll stick to it. I think it taught me that, again, things genuinely come when they're meant to, and as long as you're actually putting the effort for it, you can't necessarily feel bad for yourself, but maybe look back and see like what you did and maybe tweaking some things so that the outcome is better.
I think everything's a learning curve here.
Yeah.
You might learn some things earlier, and then some people might realize that later, but it's always a learning experience.
Yeah.
So just do your best.
That's what we're in college for, to learn.
No, exactly. And I think you mentioned this earlier, but like for myself, like I feel like a mistake that I've caught myself doing that now I'm, better at like mitigating is that I just like am, it's hard to not compare yourself to what other people are doing when you're in an environment where everyone is like truly seems like they have it all together and like everyone is achieving their goals, which is amazing, but it makes you reflect on yourself and maybe have self-doubt. So I feel like giving yourself grace, like knowing when, you need to acknowledge your wins and that you're working towards your wins. I think as long as you can take steps forward to better who you want to be and better your career path in whatever way that looks, if you are in the right stage to do so, I think is all that really matters. So
definitely. And I feel every day here at Questrom so memorable. Like something new happens every day. You have a story to tell. So just going off of this, Joannie, what's your most memorable moment from like a club or like a class that it just comes back to you naturally?
I don't think it's from a class necessarily, even though I've had some really funny experiences then. I would say just chilling on BU Beach and just seeing everyone super happy to be out in the sun. And that was like, mind you, one of my biggest things that like really sold BU to me, like seeing everyone laid out in the sun. So being able to partake in that and make memories with my friends when the ice cream truck comes by, and I really think that that's so special.
Definitely. I surprisingly did not understand seasonal depression when I first came here, and everyone was talking about it. I was like, it doesn't happen, like they're just like, it's just winter, it's fine. And personally for me, I really like the cold weather, and I just did not know it'll get like bad, like this bad, because especially like where I come from in New Delhi, it gets cold, but that winter is like such a comfortable cold that you can go out, have like brunches, because the summers there are really hot. So you like the colder weather, and here it's the complete opposite. And come sophomore year, I was like, okay, I understand what is happening, because my desk is like right under a window. So as soon as the sun set at like 4 p.m., I was like, what is happening? Like, where's the daylight? I can't. But yeah, I think as soon as the sun comes out, everyone's happier.
Yeah.
1000%.
No, I totally relate. I mean, being from South Florida, like it was also such an adjustment because I, was always used to it being sunny outside. Like Florida honestly rarely gets cold. So, coming to BU and adjusting to that, especially when it gets dark out so quickly, like I had to almost adjust like the way my body operates itself too. Like I would get tired and be like, no, you have things to do, girl. Like stay up. Don't forget. But I think finding ways to like mitigate, when you maybe start not feeling so great because you're like the weather is actually affecting like my mental health.
Yeah.
Finding outlets that like, keep you going forward. Like for me, I love the gym and I love to be physically active, and I feel like that is super awesome. So yeah, I feel like everyone has their thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, being from the Northeast, it never gets easier.
Yeah.
But you're so right. Having an outlet, whether it's going outside, I mean, it's cold, but at least going on your brisk walk to grab your matcha, or having something to look forward to, if not every day, at least every week, it totally helps.
Yeah, definitely.
So what if you could recall a moment where you were most proud of, or if you have like a moment that you can say like, this is like my proudest moment in my time at Questrom, what would it be?
Oh, I was going to say I don't have any, but I totally forgot. I did the I don't know what you call it.
Questrom talk?
Good Questrom talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, for SM275. That was so much fun. I never saw myself to be a public speaker, but I think when it comes to presenting and talking in front of an audience, I really don't mind it. So taking SM 275 was a lot of fun. And never did I think that I would be picked from my classmates to represent our section.
Yeah, I think you were such a good pick because I was there when like
Oh,
the
are you?
Questrom talk was happening, and I vividly remember your talk, and I think I was like, I want to go and speak to her just because you spoke so well, and it was
Oh,
something
thank
that
you.
resonated with so many of us sitting there.
Thank you. That's so sweet. No, absolutely. I loved that moment so much, and I was so excited to see my friends out in the crowd and just be up there. It was totally fun. A lot more fun than I thought it would be.
Definitely. Yeah, I think SM 275, like the question talk is something a lot of people get really anxious about. But I think it's also like just the class is all about getting over the fear of like speaking on a stage or like just giving a speech. And I think that class is like such a big learning curve for so many people who get anxious in like that setting. Like you do it in the class first, and then if you get picked, you do it on a stage, and then like it's only upward from there.
Yeah. No, totally. It was like kind of see the class as like a means of practice.
Yeah.
No one's necessarily, you don't be born good at it. It's all about learning. I think I just see it as like fun and a way to practice. So yeah, I think that would be my proudest moment for sure.
Yay, awesome.
Okay, Joannie, what is something that you feel that you're leaving behind here and something that you're going to be taking with you?
I feel like I want to leave so many things behind. Being specifically like unproductive habits.
Yeah.
Like if that's what we're kind of talking about, I need to leave behind like the cramming, the sleeping in, like all of that. That's I think once I graduate college, I feel like I have to take myself a little bit more seriously. And I guess what I would take with me is more so, I feel like we touched upon today, like the true friendships, like, you know, it's all about a period of like self-discovery. So the person that I entered here in college and the person I'm leaving she's very different. She's a very different girl. So just more so those more meaningful relationships, and I don't know, I want to have like a go-getter attitude.
Yeah.
So definitely that's what I'm taking with me.
Be that girl.
Yeah, just being that girl.
Yeah. No, that totally resonates too. I think like I, at least in my time at BU, have seen like myself evolve, for lack of better words. It's like so many different versions of myself, and like, you know, constantly like bettering yourself and finding ways to like grow in ways you didn't even realize you could is like super awesome. And I, you know, love that, like, again, like this is like a shared experience. Love it.
I have a very funny story. So me and my current roommate, we became friends like early freshman year, and she started recording these end of sem videos, and she randomly started recording the first video, and then we just continued doing it after every sem. But she was like, okay, what is one thing that you learned this sem that you want to take into next sem, and what are the like few things that you want to achieve next semester? And I remember I was just sitting down recently and rewatching those videos, and I actually saw the shift in every semester, which was like, you don't realize it till you like, you know, look back at it. And it's so wonderful, like the things, like the experiences here that shape you into like the person you actually want to become.
That is so sweet. Now I wish I had some vlogs to look back on.
No, me too. Honestly, I feel like the Snapchat memories, like I barely use Snapchat, but like I did, like I feel like sophomore, like freshman year. So I'll look back at it and I'm like, I was baby. Like
yeah. Or even if it's just, I have a spam account on Instagram. So even if it's just scrolling down and seeing my little silly posts, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Seeing pictures of like myself in like the freshman dorms. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
It's different. It's like a whole different life.
Yeah.
Were you a West or a Warren?
I have to say West. I've lived in West for 3 years. I only lived in Warren my not sophomore year, my freshman year. Yeah. And although I made so many friends, and it's definitely like convenient with the dining hall and Questrom's down the street, West is just a different vibe.
Yeah, I feel like that answer is like situational. It definitely depends on the person. But if you were to ask me, like I would say West. Like I lived in West my freshman sophomore year before I moved off campus, but I loved the environment in West, and I'm so grateful for some of the friendships that I've made, you know, my freshman year especially. It's actually really funny. 2 of my best guy friends that I made, you know, my freshman year, literally first day at BU, I met them. When I moved off campus, we didn't know, but like they were my literal next door, like apartment neighbors. Yeah, which was like so awesome. I'm so grateful for them. They're awesome. But
that's
just,
wonderful.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that, like, I feel like invisible strings is like a big thing too. Like,
Yeah.
have you guys
so
seen
real.
that like throughout your like
The
college
red
experience?
theory.
The red string theory?
theory. I think that's between.
Maybe. Is that between two people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with the invisible
Yeah.
string.
Just like repetitive themes that like happen, and you're like, whoa, like I'm looking at this from like a different angle now because I've grown. Like I don't know.
Is that the
Cool.
one where like you're always kind of connected to someone or something, and they're always kind of there in the background until
Yeah.
it's time for you to finally meet them or for you to
Yeah.
get to that thing?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I've lived on the east side my whole like
Oh, have
time at
you?
BU, but I've spent so much time going to West just to like visit friends or just hang out in their dorms or their apartments. And I agree that West is like the more social. Like it's a different world, I would say.
They say West is best.
They say West is best. But Vidhita is on this team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do something a little different now.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So we're just gonna like throw these questions at you, and you just like respond like how you would like instinctually like think, you know, your answer to these.
Okay.
Okay. So one word to describe your freshman self.
Awkward.
One word to describe your senior self.
I don't know if I want to. I would say like congrats to her. I don't know if I would describe her just yet.
So maybe celebratory.
Celebratory.
Yes. Okay. Most underrated part of BU.
I would say the late night cafes. I don't know if they're still going on, but
I think they are.
I loved late night, like especially sophomore year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this, but a place at BU that means something to you.
I'm gonna have to say B.
Favorite study spot at BU.
I would say the Stuvie 26th floor. It's
Mhm.
just so beautiful up there.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt. Let's just keep going. It's the rapid fire. But if your BU journey was a chapter title for your life, what would this chapter be called?
I love the song "Good Days" by SZA, so I
Yeah.
would just have to title it "Good Days."
Good answer.
One word to describe how you feel about graduation.
Exciting. I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, awesome. That concludes our segment. But Joannie, thank you so much for coming on. We had so much fun. Just
and we
chatting
love
with
talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could sit here for hours catching up with you guys. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for joining us for this episode of Questrom Real Talk.
And we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you.